Praise be the Messiah, this is your favorite arch-janitor cog, and we are going to be looking at Adeptus Mechanicus in 40k. We're going to be taking a look at the units that I would consider to be quite important in the upcoming 11th edition, which should be, hopefully, according to some leaks and certain YouTubers, next month. At least the pre-order should happen next month. So I thought, why not start now? Looking at the admech, as I wanted to do it for a while, but with the rumors of the upcoming 11th edition, I decided to hold back on it and to cover 30k mechanical. Now, disclaimer, these are my opinions, so opinions are often wrong. If you disagree with me or if you have a different opinion, please make sure you leave it in the comments down below. First unit we're going to be taking a look at, which I think will be important in the upcoming new edition, is a Skitarii Marshal. By the Motivores, may thy augmentics never falter. By the Omnissiah, may thy aim be wrathful and true. By the Machine God, may thy great work ever turn the cogs of industry. Ave Deus Mechanicus. Skitarii Marshal, Neus Lol. What are Skitarii Marshals? Marshals lead the maniples and cohorts of Skitarii soldiery. They are veteran warriors of countless crusades, privileged to bear enhanced augmentations. Marshals stand as intermediates between Skitarii formations and their priestly masters, employing sacred uplinks to refine their warriors' doctrines closer to holy perfection. As we know, the codexes in the 10th edition are going to be usable in 11th. The way I see it is GW being quite lazy, and they don't want to invest resources into putting out indexes. So I would treat your 10th edition codex as an index for the 11th edition until the actual codex for 11th edition comes out. We know so far that Space Marines and Orcs are going to be the first two codexes that will be released, and I would expect admech to be somewhere in the middle, maybe in like the latter half of the middle if we are lucky. Now, Skitarii Marshal. It has a movement of 6, toughness of 3, 4 up save, 5 up invul, 3 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. The stat line is a basic Skitarii stat line, nothing crazy, except it has 2 more wounds than a regular Skitarii, has one better leadership, but nothing crazy. I believe Skitarii Marshals currently, as I'm making this video, are 35 points each, which makes them a good and very cheap unit that can lead your Skitarii Vanguards and Rangers. Now, we're gonna go into its weapons, then we're gonna take a look at its abilities. Weapons are nothing crazy to speak of. Some of them can be boosted with certain detachments and the enhancement that you can take, but we are looking at the unit as it is, basing only the unit's capabilities of its datasheet. Skitarii Marshal has a Mechanicus pistol, which is a standard issue pistol for most of the characters. It has Devastating Wounds, pistol, keywords, its range is 12, 1 attack, at ballistic skill 3, 6 strength, AP -1, damage 1. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's a pistol, you wouldn't expect too much of it. And funnily enough, I have actually rolled a 6 on my wound roll with this pistol on a Marshal, way more than I should, and I know that my opinion of it is a bit skewed, but whenever I needed that 1 damage to finish a target, that let's say the Vanguards were firing at and just left them on like 1 wound, I have rolled that 6. But it's unreliable, so you know it is a nice thing to have. All of the pistols, I think, have it in the Mechanicus army, so it's quirky. It fits the lore. Its melee weapon is control stave, melee range obviously 4 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 6, AP 1, damage 1. Again, it's not great and not terrible. Strength 6 is nice, it's a nice breakpoint, but AP 1 is and damage 1 is also with only 4 attacks in an edition where everything is very lethal and Skitarii are not known to be masters of melee combat. This weapon will be only used as a last resort. But you don't take Skitarii Marshal for his stat line or his weapons, you take him for his abilities. And what abilities does Skitarii Marshal have? Well, good thing you ask. First, it's a leader, and as we know in the 11th edition, from what we've been told, leaders will have to lead. So you won't be able to take a unit that has a leader keyword or a leader ability alone. So Skitarii Marshal will have to be attached to one of the two units, which are Rangers or Vanguard. It has Doctrina Imperatives, which is a Conqueror Imperative or Protector Imperative. One makes its shooting better, one makes its melee better. And there are different buffs, but we'll talk about it when we get to a unit that, for example, like Skitarii Vanguards or Rangers, whatever. We're not going to talk about it with the Marshal because it's inconsequential to the actual model itself. Because, again, you're going to take this unit for the next two abilities. Control Edict. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. This is massive, this is big, and this is what makes, for example, Vanguards a viable unit to field. As a, maybe not exactly like shock infantry, but an infantry that can very quickly go on an objective in a transport, hop out, and dish an incredible amount of damage considering their weapon profile. Now, the wording on this is when this model is leading a unit. From what we've been told with 11th edition, this is going to be changed to where the prerequisite of this model leading a unit to activate this ability will be removed. So this ability will always be on, regardless if the model is leading a unit or not. But on the other hand, we know that leaders will have to lead, so one cancels the other. Now, the second ability, which I think is important, this is actually the old ability, because the ability was changed. So let's have a look at the old ability and what does this ability do, and then we will have a look at the new ability that came out in one of the patches that GW releases quite some time ago, actually, now, at this point, now I think about it. What was the old ability? Servo-skull uplink. Once per turn, you can target this model's unit with a stratagem, even if the stratagem has already been used on another unit from your army this phase. It's not great. It's really not great. It wasn't really useful. I don't think I've ever used this ability once. But its new ability is much better. Servo-skull uplink, same name. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Skitarii unit that is battle shocked within 6 inches of this model. That unit is no longer battle shocked. Now, with the changes to battle shock in the 11th edition, this is a very important ability. Because remember, this unit will be on your battle line, which are Rangers and Vanguard. This unit will be predominantly used to either hold your objectives with Rangers or make an attempt to take the objective from the enemy with the Vanguard. The importance of this is wording of this ability at the start of any phase. So you can use this before at the start of command phase, before you start calculating the points of like you holding how many objectives and so on, right? That's my understanding. And with the changes to battle shock, you won't have to retest if you're in this battle shock in the next turn. This ability just permanently removes the battle shock status, which is fantastic. This basically negates one of the core changes to core rules that GW has done, which you will see as we go through these and through the new releases of like the previews of the detachments. There's a lot of cool rules that are coming with 11th edition that haven't previewed, but every army seems to have multiple rules that ignore those core rules, which is bollocks in my opinion. But what can you do? That's the game, right? But yes, Skitarii Marshal is a very simple unit, 35 points. You either stick him with the Vanguards and you take one of the boats. By boat, I mean a Dune Rider. And Scorpius Dune Rider, to be precise. You stick the Marshal with Vanguards, you pop them in a Dune Rider, you ride that motherfucker right to the enemy objective in no man's land or their own base. You plop them out, and with the Dune Rider's ability, your Vanguards suddenly are rerolling all hits because of the Control Edict, and are rerolling all wounds because of Dune Rider's ability, the fire support. And if you're in Conqueror, all your weapons get -1 AP, So suddenly your basic 3-shot radium carbines have a -1 AP, and you will take Omni specs, which means they ignore cover. In 11th edition, where the terrain is going to be the objective, I think Vanguard, this little combo, will have a lot more play, and it's going to be quite viable. Because the Dune Rider is 85 points, Marshal is 35 points, and Vanguards are 95 points. So, think about it, it is a sizable amount of points, but for what they do, I think it'll be worth it in 11th edition. Now, also, we haven't fully seen the archetypes of missions that you can take. We only have seen 2 so far, I believe. But working with the pre-assumption that every objective, or nearly every objective, or sorry, every terrain, is going to be an objective marker. And with the Vanguard's ability of lowering OC within within certain aura of the unit, with Marshal having the Servo-skull uplink ability to negate battle shock, I think we might be seeing the return of Skitarii spam. So 3 units of Marshals with 3 Vanguards in 3 Dune Riders. I think that'd be pretty funny, but actually might be quite effective as like a reactionary or a shock assault type of a unit to field. But yeah, that Skitarii Marshal is very simple. There's nothing crazy about it. It's a very cool model. I'm a big fan of it. I have 3 of them because I used to run 3 squads of Vanguards back in the 10th edition when before the Halo Screed came out with the Skitarii Hunter cohort. And I'm a big fan of this model. And of course, it depends on what list you want to build. And once we talk more about the different units, I will be posting some like examples that I think could be viable. But again, please let me know if you disagree with my opinion. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know if you would like to see more 40k stuff, because I'm quite excited for 11th edition. I got tired of 10th, and I feel like Skitarii admech is in a very precarious spot, where they're either very broken or very unplayable, like it has been in 10th edition, like it has been at the end of the 9th edition. So I'm quite excited to see where they will fit in the 11th edition. I'm quite excited for the preview, which we will be reacting to once it's out. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Praise be the Messiah.